professional so far. Hello. Hey! God, I'm standing at a podium. I feel I ought to give a lecture now on something deep and meaningful. Good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much for all coming along. We're here to launch a book. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Ian Waits. I run an independent press in the UK called NewCon Press. Now, I started NewCon by accident. And here we are 10 years later and I'm still doing it. I'm not quite sure why, but 10th anniversary, so here we are. The book in question is called Barcelona Tales, which is one of the last books we'll be doing this year after a very hectic year, but it's one I'm particularly proud of and particularly pleased with. The book features authors from several nationalities. The main reason for producing it was that I've become involved to a certain extent in the science fiction scene in Spain over the last couple of years and discovered a wealth of fantastic authors whom I'd never heard of and who I suspect many English and American readers would not have heard of. So I wanted to produce a book where I could feature stories by some of these authors in English and put them alongside some authors that would be more familiar to the English and American readers. So very kindly, because I know where the bodies are buried, I persuaded Aliette de Bodard, despite having become a mother for the second time recently, to write a wonderful story for this. We've also got Lisa Tuttle, Sarah Singleton, Dave Hutchison from the UK, who can't be with us unfortunately, and Ian Watson, who's sort of half Spanish and half English now, so that's okay. and we've got Claude Lelumiere from Canada. So it's a true international book, but in particular we've got, to say, some great Spanish authors. And I'm delighted to say that some of those are with us here today. We've got on the far side, we've got Sophia Rai, and we've also got Alberto Cagliani, and we have in here as well, we have Elio Barceló, we have Rodolfo Martinez, Virginia Perez de la Puente, did I get that right? Yeah, I got that right. So we have a great mix of authors from different countries, all published in English. Our hope is, as I say, that this can introduce them to a wider readership. And it seemed that with Barcelona hosting Eurocon this year, it seemed a wonderful opportunity to launch the book here. So I had them all write. And the stories in here vary from horror to science fiction to speculative to... It's a great mix of tales. I'm not going to talk for too much longer because I know that Claude Lelumiere has come all the way from Canada just to read his story to you, which is quite short.
Part of his story.
And when I told him... And when I told him earlier that there weren't going to be any readings, he nearly cried. So I relented and said, all right, Claude, seeing as it's you. So I'm delighted to say that Claude is now going to read his story from the book.
So this story is part of a cycle of stories that I call Lost Myths. And it's kind of fake mythology. And for a while I had a live show where I was performing these with a slideshow and a soundtrack, but you'll get kind of the pared down version here. So, the dance of the Hippocatora. Near the end of the mythic age, a young centauride fled Greece to escape the ceaseless insults of other centaurs. Her equine half resembled the donkey more than the horse, and even her human head was marred by donkey ears. She galloped tirelessly, spurred on by her need to escape from herself, which of course she could not do. She wended her way past Gibraltar. The sight of the Atlantic Ocean stopped her in her tracks, partly because she could not go any farther, and partly because the view mesmerized her. So she settled in Iberia and found a certain peace. Nevertheless, so far from home, at times her heart ached from loneliness. At the break of dawn, she would sometimes lie in the sand and let her tears fall into the sea as she gazed at its beauty. One such morning, on a Mediterranean beach east of Gibraltar, one of Poseidon's bulls, a brother of the Cretan bull, who famously sired the notorious Minotaur upon the all-shining goddess Pasiphae, after she'd been turned into a mortal as an unwilling gift to King Minos, happened to be swimming near the Iberian coast, and he caught the taste of the female centaur's tears. As they do on many males, the tears of a female acted on him like a powerful aphrodisiac. He swam to shore and seduced the centauride. These giant amphibian bulls possess many attributes beyond their ability to prosper equally on land and in the sea. Of interest to us now are two related characteristics: their ability to direct their genital musk toward any female they desire and thus inflame her lust, which can then only be sated by the bull himself, and the capacity to crossbreed with any species, resulting in odd chimeras scattered like seed across the world, each of them distinct from the other. Once this particular bull had satisfied his lust, he left the impregnated centauride sleeping on the surface of the Mediterranean. Chimeras, due in part to their unusual shapes, often induce difficult labor upon their mothers, and this small, fragile centauride was not up to the challenge. She died in childbirth, having never laid eyes upon her daughter, the Hippocatora, a horned biped with the head of a cow, sharp talons for feet, and a giant third eye where her left breast should be. The Hippocatora is still among us and can be found in Barcelona among the living statues who ply their trade on La Rambla. Alas, she's only mildly successful at separating tourists from their funds, as she lacks the grace of the other performers. Nevertheless, she is enchanted by the beauty and bustle of Barcelona and its people, and she strives to mimic the ethereal agility displayed by her fellow artists. When she despairs at her lack of skill, she trots away from La Rambla and from our world altogether. The Hippocatora's third eye allows her to see the paths between realities, lets her see the exact sequence of steps necessary to leap out of this universe and into a world that is nothing but an endless labyrinth that's delineated by impassably tall and thick hedges. Sometimes others wander into this slush maze, careless drunks, dervishes who whirl too recklessly, unsuspecting sleepwalkers. When the Hippocatora finds them, for she can always smell them as soon as they step into this other realm, she sings them to sleep, to calm their fears at being stranded in a world they cannot understand. And then she eats them, clothes, bone, and all, leaving not a trace of their short presence in her personal Elysium. Invariably, she again comes to yearn for the excitement of Barcelona and La Rambla. She always remembers the exact sequence of steps that will take her there. Thank you.
Brilliant. For the first time in history, there's 1.5 Greek at the Eurocon, and we have a Greek short story. Kelly here is 100% Greek and 50% Greek. So for the first time, we have 1.5 Greek.
Bellis, we did this especially for you, sir. So now, I thank you very much, Claude. I should say that that's the shortest story in here, which is why I let Claude read it. So thank you very much for doing the reading. I'll also mention that we've got 2 editions of the book. One is a signed limited edition hardback, which has been signed already by all the authors you see here, except for a couple which Lisa hasn't signed, but we'll get there in a moment. The other is a paperback. Now, the signed limited edition hardback, there are only 50 copies, and 30 of those are sold even before we've got here in pre-sales. So there's only 20 left, which we have here to sell today. The paperback, the signed limited edition should be £22.99 in British money, but I like to keep things nice and simple because at this time of the day my brain is half frazzled. So we're saying €20 a copy. And the paperback should be £12.99 in English money, but again we're saying €10. And at the rate the pound's falling, that will soon be about right anyway. So we're saying €10. I must also add, before I go any further, that in case you've heard the rumour, there is no rumour whatsoever in this. There's no truth that whatsoever. Thank you, Mr. Watson. There is no truth whatsoever in the rumour that you may have heard that any of the Spanish authors are in here because they took embarrassing photos of me at Celsius that they haven't yet posted on Facebook. That's not true. They're here because they're really good authors and no other reason. That's really all I've got to say, except I think there's also an addition that I will just mention. Sarah Singleton, who's with us on stage, has written a wonderful story for the book. She's actually on a panel which I don't believe is in the programme, so if anyone wants to come and heckle Sarah, when is it, Sarah? 6:30.
On Sunday, young adult fantasy.
I don't think I need to repeat that, seeing as my pet foghorn on the end there has done a brilliant job. Thank you, Ian. But yes, on Sunday, 6:30, YA fiction. The authors are all here, looking very dazzled, wondering if there is actually anyone sitting there or it's just the front row because of the lights. But if you would like to come and buy a copy of this wonderful book, I'm very proud of it. These authors have done fantastically wonderful stories to go in it. So please come up, say hello to the authors, get them to deface your books, and yeah, we're here. So thank you very much indeed for your time.
Okay, then, upstairs, so you go up onto stage, and then you jump off.
Yes, I'm afraid you have to come up and join us on stage. Helen? Sorry? I need one. You need to keep. For you, 25 quid. There you go. No, it's 20 quid in pounds, 20 euros, whichever you prefer, Jim. I wouldn't even know where to start.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, so it's sort of not the best way of doing it, really, but hey ho.
All right. Yes, please, Jeff. Number 15 for Jeff. I will do, but I'll have to wait till this is over. Sorry. Right, so we'll do this at the other end. It's been suggested everyone comes up on stage.
Well, exactly, absolutely.
So any of the authors can sign, deface, credit with a paperback, you right? Hang on a sec, I just need to get some paperbacks. Of course, yeah. What I'll do, I'll put my email address in the front here, okay? So that's another paperback, I don't think what that was.
Yeah.
If not, I'm sorry, I'm not writing this very well. You can always contact me via the NewCon Press website. Yes, I do. Because that's come out terribly, I'm sorry. Thank you. Hi. Certainly, thank you. well, thank you. I suppose you're going to want some change now, aren't you? So, yes, it would be useful. Thank you. Certainly. And by all means, if all the authors are happy to sign for you. Yep, that one you need to get Lisa to sign, number 11, because she missed out on that. Number 11. Thank you, €20. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you enjoy the book. Thank you. Oh, 2. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy. 2 paperbacks, £20.
I'm writing it in pounds and it's
Hi.
euros and pounds.
20 for the hardback, 10 for the paper. Thank you very much. I have signed it, yes. In the wrong place, but I've signed it. And you still need to get Lisa to sign, though. And Aliette. Ooh. So they're here. So number 14. That's good. They're both here, though. There you go. Thank you.
Yes, I've got it here, yeah.
Oh, is it just signed? Sorry, thank you. Paperback, thank you. Hope you enjoy. Hang on, I'll get you some change. €10. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, certainly.
Move that a little bit and get stuff.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy. Bye. Certainly. That's number 19. You still need to get Lisa to sign it. It's over there, but she hasn't signed that one yet. It's been chaos. Unfortunately, Virginia hasn't made it. She's not here, but Lisa is here. She's just there in the middle. So Lisa can sign that for you. Okay? Thank you very much indeed. I hope you enjoy the book. Hi. Certainly. There you are, thank you. Hang on, I shall get you some change. I shall get you some change. 10, that's the one. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoy the book. Would you like me to sign that, by the way, while you're here? Might as well. You know, I'm in the habit of defacing books, so you can go down the line. Exactly. You could always have the rare unsigned one if you like. Yes. Thank you very much. Hi. Hard copy.
That's CC.
Yeah, that's a CC. Number 7. Ooh, and this one we also need to get Aliette and Lisa to sign. So they're both here, so that's 20, and I should get you some change. That's another one that we missed. They're multiplying. 20. Well, they were all supposed to be at the top. Nice try. Nice try. Thank you. Good try.
Give me all the money.
Paperback, certainly. There you are. Oh, and someone has 10 now. I don't have to find change. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the book. Hi. Yep. you.